Well, hello everyone, and welcome to One Meditation. And today we have our special guest teacher, Tim Freke, who is here. And before I introduce Tim briefly, I just want to take a brief moment to look around the room and invite everyone, if you can, just for a minute to turn your video on so we could look at you and just get a sense of who's here. People from all over the world. And just collectively feel into this one heart that even brings us here. And appreciate this. Yes. And so very briefly, if you're new to this one meditation, we're going to be here today for 4 hours, but you don't have to stay if you can. Tim is going to lead us in the first session and the last session. The sessions are 45 minutes long, and we take a 15-minute break between each one. And then session 2 and 3, we're going to be meditating, a brief lead in, and just sit in silence. And if you're going to come back, we recommend you in the break to be silent and still and allow this, whatever Tim leads us for the first period, to sort of live in that contemplation and silence in the break if you want to get up and stretch your legs. And we are going to record this when Tim starts speaking also, so just to let you know. And we put those recordings on our website, onemeditation.net, and there's an archive of all the spiritual teachers that have been here. And if you want to listen to their recordings, it's here. And so I hope I got the important stuff off there. And now just to introduce Tim briefly. A few months ago, I never even heard of Tim Freke, and a little email popped in from out of nowhere, and I think it was the Shift Network introducing a new spiritual teacher, and the video comes up, and I listen to this spiritual teacher, and I'm immediately struck by how open, humble, and human Tim is. And he offered an online course, and I took that. And I was again struck with how incredibly humble, open, human, and passionate this man is for our awakening and for just investigating and looking into the mystery of life. Who are we? What are we? Why are we here? What is this all about? And Tim is passionately interested in investigating this with whoever wants to investigate with him, to look into this. And he has many books. He's a world author, speaker. He has retreats. And after this course, I joined up, registered on his almost every Sunday in his community. He has a international community of unividuals, which is an interesting word, of bringing in, holding our individuality and our oneness together as a unividual. And so for any more information you would like about Tim, you can go to his website, timfreke.com. But yeah, I just want to thank you, Tim, my heart for being here and your passion for what you do and your humanness, for how you do it. So welcome and thank you. And we have to unmute you, I think. Do you have that, Mano?
There we go.
Yeah.
Hello. Thank you, Rick, for that lovely introduction. It's an honor to be invited to join in what you're doing and to support what you're doing with One Meditation, which sounds fantastic. And I've been getting to know Rick, as he says, and I knew that if he was involved, it was going to be something really great. So, yeah, that's what I'd like to do with you in this first session. When I was thinking about it, was first of all, as we'll probably talk about later, it feels a really important time to connect. Every time is an important time to connect, but now is a really important time. And to connect is all that we are. So what I'd like to do with you is a little bit different maybe than you might do normally. I don't know. I lead a lot of quiet meditations and sinking into our deep being, and we might do a bit of that. But I thought I'd offer something a little bit different, which is a contemplation exercise. And the difference, I think, really is that when you come into stillness meditation, the idea is to calm your senses and calm your mind so that you can become aware of the depths of being. Whereas with what I want to do with you for this first session on your journey today is to explore the moment together using all our faculties, and see what we find and see how it changes our experience. So if you'd like to be comfortable as you can, and I think it's nice to close your eyes. You don't have to, but it can be nice because it signals a shift. It signals a shift in where we're placing attention. And where we place attention is what we're conscious of. So the place I'd like to start is placing attention on something really obvious. And that is the fact that we exist right now. And we know we exist because we're experiencing this moment. And as I pay attention to that primal fact that I exist and I'm experiencing this, I'm struck by how profoundly mysterious that is. That on a deep, authentic level, I don't know what this is that I am and that I'm experiencing. And I invite you to come into that great mystery with me. Let's meet there. This is happening. We exist. We are on this journey together. And it is a breathtaking mystery. In the oracle at Delphi, in the ancient world from which our culture has come, were written the words, know yourself, gnothisiton. So let's explore who we are in this moment, in this mystery. I'm starting again with something obvious, is that I'm conscious of being a body in the world. And I invite you to be conscious of your body in the world. Usually I take being a body for granted, but right now I'm entering into the body with my attention. And as I'm doing that, I'm aware of how amazing it is to be a body in the world. And I invite you to do that with me. I'm conscious of the feeling of weight on the chair I'm sitting on. I'm conscious of the air on my skin. I'm conscious of the sensation of breathing. And how when I pay it attention, it becomes profoundly pleasurable just to breathe. I'm conscious of listening I invite you to be conscious of listening to every little sound. We are bodies in the world. How exquisite. Sensing the world. And now I invite you to sink your attention deeper into yourself and be conscious of the psyche. Psyche is the Greek word for soul. Be conscious of the soul, the imagination, another level of identity. Conscious of ideas and thoughts. How amazing to be able to think. To imagine. As I put my attention in the psyche, I'm conscious that it is a very different experience to the sensations. It is a non-material world that doesn't exist in space. And yet it is so central to what I am. That I exist as a psyche or soul in this moment. I am conscious that in the psyche I exist as a story. The story of Tim. made up of everything I've ever done, my past, made up of my hopes and fears and memories, the joys and suffering of my life. And I invite you to be conscious in your psyche of being the story of your life, also full of joy and suffering, dreams and losses, hopes and fears, leading to this moment. In the Western spiritual tradition, and it's the same everywhere, our identity is described as body and soul. And here they are, clear as day. A flow of sensory experience, a flow of imaginal experience. And then there is this third, spirit, pneuma, nous. In the East, Atman, Buddha nature. To discover this, I invite you to be conscious of the presence of your deepest being. Not being a body, not being a soul, but simply being. That ineffable presence you call I. That presence which is witnessing the flow of experience, the flow of sensation and imagination. But which itself is only the experience of being. In the Upanishads, it says, what is it that cannot be seen that makes looking possible? It is the presence of being, which has no color and no shape. The experiencer in the Upanishads, it says, what is it that cannot be heard that makes listening possible? It is being that makes no noise, which is the experiencer of everything. In the Upanishads, it says, what is it that cannot be imagined that makes imagination possible? It is being, which is not a thought or an image. It is the experiencer of everything. The great teaching at the heart of all spiritual traditions is that our deepest being has no form. It simply is, without any other qualities. Sink your attention into that formless, spacious presence of being, which is everywhere because it has no boundaries, because it has no form. And now I invite you to take your attention back to the body, to form the body in the world. And as I do that, I'm conscious that everything that is, the whole universe, shares the one quality of being. Everything exists within and as an expression of this field of formless being. And that my individual being is one with universal being. My being is one with the being of everything. My identity is both individual and universal. I am unividual. And as I pay attention to my individual body in the material world, I'm aware of how I exist as an integral part of the world, individual and universal. My individual body exists because it is breathing in the air, and it could not exist without it. I am conscious that every cell in my body is made of the food I eat and the water I drink. That brings me energy from the sun. And that the very chemicals in my body were formed in stars billions of years ago. And I invite you to sense that we are sitting as individuals within ourselves as the universe. And then let's sink the attention into the soul once more and be conscious also of our individual and our universal identities. Each one of us a story, a unique story with meaning, purpose, a bittersweet story. And my story and your story, all part of the story of the universe. Intimately connected. We are woven into each other by every experience we have shared with others, by the culture in which we exist, going back and back and back and back, through the imagination of all of our ancestors who created the very words and ideas with which we think. Feel that connection, individual and universal. Unividual. Feel that connection right now with all of the other psyches, souls, sharing this meditation together. As bodies, we are spread out around the world. But psyches do not exist in space in a particular place. And right now, we are all connected. As we share this exploration together. And feel your connection beyond this particular moment and this particular group of souls to all the souls that have touched your life and whom you are touched, that exist within you as part of your story, your past. A great web of connection, connecting all of us. Individual and universal. A great ecology of soul, just like the great ecology of body and biology. And then from that recognition of our profound connectedness, our communion of souls, I invite you to sink your attention with me once more into the great oneness of being, which embraces everything within it. As I do this, I am the oneness of being, holding everything that is within what I am, including Tim, this soul, and this body, and all these other precious souls and bodies. And what arises in Tim with this recognition is love. Benign connectedness, felt as love. Because love is how oneness feels. A universal love, holding everything and everyone, holding this moment just as it is, with this benign, compassionate attention. And I invite us all, especially now in this moment in which there is so much fear and confusion, to hold each other and ourselves all across this beautiful blue planet as we face uncertainty, rapid change, to hold ourselves and each other in this enormous love with the benign intention that we find the deepest wisdom and the greatest compassion to go forward into the next chapter of this great evolutionary story of becoming. From this deep embrace, this silence and stillness of being. And then letting that permeate down into your soul and body, and especially to your heart. Dear friends, I invite you to give yourself a little wiggle so that your body moves a little. And when you're ready, let your eyes open and let's connect as all of these gorgeous faces on Zoom. Thank you for sharing that journey with me. I hope it was a good start to your greater journey of the day.
Thank you, Tim.